What's up, American history students? Welcome to day 16 of Logos Stay at Home e-learning 2020. It is April the 14th. If you believe this, we'll be back at school in 10 days. No, not happening. Like I said yesterday, there's already been an order by the governor of Missouri shutting down all public and private schools for the rest of the school year. And it's just a matter of time before that affects us, before it becomes official and they change the message on Logo's website to extend it beyond April 24th through May. That's all right. This is term 5. We got term 5 on the e-learning. We got off to a great first day of term 5 yesterday. I think I had, 7 or 8 of you on the discussion board. That was awesome. So let's keep that up. Let's get some more voices in there. I know there's some more voices out there that I've heard before on that discussion board that weren't there yesterday. So I want to get a good group discussion going on our question of the day. And, of course, we have our reading and questions to answer as well. People did a good job with that. I know some people got locked out of the questions, but I was able to get them unlocked, and you got right back in there and finished them up. If you left any questions blank, I marked it incomplete, and you can go in there and complete those. Just know that assignment due dates are a week from when they are posted, so you have until next Monday to get yesterday's assignment done, next Tuesday to get today's assignment done. After that, it goes in whatever grade you have. If you are incomplete, you get the grade you got. If it's a 0, it's a 0. We will allow people to, turn in assignments late, but I don't want to have no due dates, because then you just have assignments piling up in blackboard, and it'll be hard to keep organized. So we're going to have, due dates 1 week from when they're assigned, so you have a week to get them done, and then they go away. And if you need to get them back, if there's something going on that you can't get them done in that week, just let me know, and we can make arrangements for you. So that's a big change for this term. Another big change, just to give you a heads up, I'm sure some of you are already aware of this. One requirement for this term is to have video conference meetings with the class once a week, and I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be actually fun. Thursdays is the day for social studies classes, and so some of you might have already had meetings with your English classes yesterday. I'm not sure what is today, math or science, one of those. Either math or science is today, and then the other one's tomorrow, and then Thursday, last day of this week, because we're off on Friday, will be our day, social studies day. And the current plan is to meet at 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. on Wednesday. So stay tuned for the details on how we're going to do that. But look forward to that. It's like taking the discussion board live, right? We'll have a question of the day, and we'll be able to answer face to face. So that's cool. Speaking of the question of the day, and speaking of our topic and our reading and our questions, let's take a look at blackboard. So we will exit out of here and get into blackboard. There I am. Message from yesterday. It's always going to be posted on blackboard. Hopefully you're watching this message on our bulletin board, or could be watching on the YouTube page. If you are on the YouTube page, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're not on the YouTube page, you can always visit the YouTube page to watch any of the videos. If you missed one, if you're doing an assignment and you need some help, check out the videos on my YouTube page. If you aren't seeing yesterday's video and you want to see it, that's where you'll find it. All videos will be in a playlist called History E-Learning Messages on my YouTube page that you can access from this video, right? Scroll up, we see our e-learning instructions, and we see our topics tab. Let's go to this topics tab. Remember, the topic that we started yesterday and that we'll be working on for a while this term is the 1950s, which is a weird decade. If you read my description, what does it say? Economic prosperity, rigid conformity, rabid anti-communism, and rock and roll were all part of one of the weirdest decades in American history. People born in the 1950s, they have a special name attached to their generation and a whole culture related to them. That's going to be part of the question of the day. But they've had a big impact on society, and American society during the 1950s had a big impact on the people that grew up during this, because it was a weird time. We already know it was a weird time from what we've learned so far about the Cold War, um, and doing the duck and cover drills and all that craziness, worrying about communist spies trying to take over. That's going to impact you. But there's other things about American society in the 1950s that had a big impact on the people who grew up during that time. One of them was this economic prosperity and the consumer economy that you and I live in, right? That we're all a part of. Was really born in the 1950s, right? McDonald's was born in the 1950s. Television was born in the 1950s. The idea of credit cards and buying things on credit, 1950s, right? This is where it all came from, for better and worse, right? And so that impacts people. And that's what the reading, which is this reading here, chapter 20, section 1. We've moved into a new chapter, finished up chapter 19 yesterday. And if we click on the download for chapter 20, we will see the name of this section is the Post-War Economy. Post-War Economy. You see how I did that? Again, I always open up, always download the reading first, right? First and foremost. So we can just minimize that. So we have that open. So that when we go back to assignments, if we click on the assignments tab now, and we look at our assignments, we see yesterday's assignment, chapter 19, section 4, and then today's assignment, chapter 20, section 1. That's the reading we just downloaded, and those are the questions that we're going to answer. As always, remember, right, when you're looking at this assessment, you got the 3 buttons at the bottom. Submit answers, save for later, save and continue. Do your best to try and remember to hit the save for later if you need to leave, and do your best to try to remember to hit the save and continue as often as possible. Every time you hit the save and continue, it will save your progress, everything you've typed so far. That way you won't lose it, right? And then once you answered all 4 questions, then of course click submit answers. If you submitted answers where you only answered 2 or 3 yesterday, again, I left it incomplete. I don't want to give you a final grade just on a partial assignment. But if you don't want to answer all 4 questions, it means your grade. That will go official in 1 week. And then we have our question of the day. And let's take a look at our question of the day. Question of the day has to do with a group, a generation. A generation called baby boomers. You guys ever heard of baby boomers? I'm sure you have. One thing that I like to talk about a lot in class, and actually I had a 7th hour class on this called current events that we're not doing because of the pandemic. It was an interesting class leading up to the school closure, all the watching the coverage of the pandemic. We saw it coming before a lot of you guys, those of us in 7th hour current events. But some people who failed to see it coming were part of this baby boomer generation. And, another big news story that's been overshadowed by the pandemic is the presidential election that is going to happen. All right, it's not been canceled. This November, we're still having a presidential election. And one thing that, we've missed being able to talk about face-to-face in current events and in this class is we now know who the 2 people running against each other in November will be. It'll be Donald Trump, the Republican, and Joe Biden, the Democrat. He, is the presumptive Democratic nominee. And one thing that these 2 guys have in common, they have a lot of differences, but one thing that they have in common is they're both baby boomers, right? They were both in their 70s. They were both born in the 1950s, right, or 40s. Grew up in the 50s. And there's a lot of baby boomers, right? So much so that there's this meme, this phrase that's going around, okay, boomer, right? And it's kind of a dismissive, okay, old guy, right? But baby boomers are often blamed by younger generations for all the problems of our society, right? It's their fault, right? Not our fault, it's their fault. They're also the people leading the country, right? And they have been leading the country for a long time. So maybe, if it's anyone's fault, But also, again, they are just products of the society that they were born into. And so the question is, what do we think? What do we think the society that they were born into, how do we think it affected them? Well, I mentioned, right? Um, Anti-communism, right? Pro-capitalism, right? Pro-capitalism. What else are they? They're buy now, pay later. Buy now, pay later. What else do they like? They like, they love TV, right? And other consumer goods. Stuff. They like stuff, right? And all Americans, we like our stuff, right? This really is where it began, though, with the baby boomers. So I'm going to post that response. There we go, right? And I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about the boomers, right? Let me know. Post your answer to the question of the day. Don't forget to answer those 4 questions, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.